Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Martial Maze. I'm with my partner in crime, Barakula Chidoshi.
And I'm with my partner in crime here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
All right. And so our topic of discussion today is training in the martial arts, online learning, its benefits and its pitfalls. And with us right now, we have a special guest coming from the NYC.
We have Demetrius Angelo, founder and owner at the Urban Action Showcase and founder and CEO at the NYC Action Actors Academy. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Thank you for giving us your time. How you been?
I'm well, thank God. It's another day. I'm still here. I'm doing all right.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so bear with me. I'm always adjusting the audio. I'm kind of that guy. This is if this was the Howard Stern show, this would be Howard Stern. I'm Robin.
So, I want what I would like for you to elaborate on, because now we are dealing with the future of online learning and all of its abilities to bring education to your household or wherever you may be present. And so you're taking advantage of this technology here. I'm very interested in it. And so I would like for you to just share some information about online learning and what you do.
Wonderful. So, as a result of the pandemic, those of us who adapt had to do just that, adapt, right? So normally the Urban Action Showcase encompasses an action film festival, an action expo, panels, seminars, obviously film screenings. And I had to figure out, how could I bring all those elements of this event from the what we call in-person physical realm to what were calling at that time the virtual realm. So I knew, being that I had a fitness company and I was already training some clients across the country in LA and so forth on a regular basis. So I knew that the technology existed to be able to actually bring all those elements into what were calling at that time the virtual realm. So I started to do some studying, and I started taking some courses in something called XR. XR is extended reality. So when you're talking about, well, the metaverse, you're talking about AI, which is artificial intelligence, AR, augmented reality, 3D gamification, and VR, which is virtual reality, and MR, which they've changed to XR now, which was mixed reality. So I started getting into XR, which is extended reality. And within the extended reality that I do, it encompasses all things. So I have AI, I have AR, I have VR, and of course I have 3D gamification, all browser based. So my platform, which is Elite Metaverse Experiences, where the martial arts metaverse comes from and where all my metaverses come from, is a browser based platform that is accessible anywhere in the world as long as you have the internet. So tablet, laptop, desktop, phone, and of course, most of all, your VR headset. So your Meta Quest, which AKA Oculus Quest, HTV Vive, any of those headsets that have their own browser, you can actually access our platform. So that being said, I was doing, when it came to fitness, I was doing a lot of Zooms, like you were saying, that because that was the thing, because you got to meet people where they are.
Exactly.
I kind of never wanted to stay where everybody else was. I kind of like to keep going. That is why, and just the necessity in and of itself of my event and what I needed, that allowed me to go to this next level where we are now, where everybody's talking about Web3, blah, 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 blah. And so the metaverse really is the, I should say, the, what do you call it, immersive engagement with content. Okay. immersive engagement with content. So all of your content should be minimum 3D, and then from there the engagement should begin. So we're talking about full streaming, which is being able to speak spatially. That means that if you're close to me, you'll hear me just like you hear me now. But if I'm farther away, you're going to hear me less than you're hearing me now. So we're talking about spatial communication. We're talking about obviously motion, sight. We're talking about obviously touch, and we're talking about hearing. So the only sense we're missing is smell and the full capacity of touch. That being said, if you were to engage any of my content through the martial arts metaverse, there's movement-wise, you can teleport, you can walk, you can run, and of course, you can fly. So, and that's both
Superman.
true, but that's both on your desktop or in VR. So that's both. So a little warning to people: if you are not if you actually get motion sickness, you probably should sit down where you won't hurt yourself, because flying will definitely make you motion sick. Teleporting usually doesn't, but gliding does. I don't glide in VR. I teleport or fly, but on your computer, you definitely can glide, because running and turning is almost like gliding. So it'll definitely engage your senses differently than something that's flat. And flat means you're just looking at a photo or a video. You're not inside the photo or the video or the content or the words. So basically, when it came to the martial arts, being that I've studied martial arts almost 50 years now, so I was like, okay, it's time to be able to do something that's going to preserve the legacy, the lineage, and of course the legends, right, of everything martial arts. So we're talking about from commerce to just history, to training. And if you allow me to share my screen, I'll actually show you how we actually have accomplished just that in and of itself.
We're back, and if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the Martial Maze. I'm Barakala Chidoshi. I'm Israel Lopez Sensei, and we're talking about training in the martial arts through the online or the metaverse, and we have Demetrius Angelo. Did I say that correctly, sir?
That's good enough. Demetrius Angelo.
Oh, Demetrius. Oh my goodness. You hit me when I do blunders like that, man. I'm like, that's what you're here for.
You know, people get confused between the Russian and the Greek. It's actually the Greek one.
Okay.
So Demetrius versus Dimitri or Dimitrios, which is more the Russian one. But either way, you know, color folks. We just be.
Well, you know, I make those mistakes from time to time, and Barakala Chidoshi is supposed to be there to kind of be like, yo, brah, what are you doing? Get it right. So I apologize, sir.
It's no problem. Okay, so what I was saying, I was going to give you a demonstration of the martial arts metaverse, how it's actually immersive, and how you can actually train. So let me know if you see me, if you see my screen.
Oh, yeah, we see the screen.
Correct. Okay, so when I talked about the metaverse, I said that I am engaged with something called XR, extended reality, which is artificial intelligence, AR, VR, and 3D gamification. So that gentleman you see at the lower right-hand corner of your screen, do you see that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not real. He is my AI. He is trying to get you to learn something. As you can see, he's trying to get attention to himself, and he's showing you down there, learn how to navigate. Now, if you click to play.
To navigate the martial arts metaverse, make sure you are using the Chrome browser on your PC or Mac. Use your mouse to center your screen and to change your viewpoint. Use the W key to move forward, the S key to move backward and the A and D keys to turn left and right.
Okay, so I just did that so you can see we're talking about learning online, right?
Yes.
So this is one tool that we use, the AI tool, the artificial intelligence tool, to give you some insight and to just bring deeper understanding of certain things to you and to call your attention to certain things. Now, because this is new, I have him come on every time you go to a page. I have him come on. So we talked about the immersive engagement with content. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, this water is real. My butterflies that are coming around, they're actually real. So this is real space. This is not Google Maps. This is not Zoom technology. This is actually what we call meta state, which is real a state in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. Now, this is our homepage because as martial artists, we know the significance of the tea ceremony, regardless of what style that you do, right? So to make a long story short, like I said, we have history, we have commerce, everything of the martial arts. So I'm just going to start with history. And if I come over here, I'm using just like a gamer. There's a reason why we call this 3D gamification. It's because it is 3D. It's real. I'm just coming over here just to show you. This is every space in here is real. There's nothing in here that's a photo. It's actual space. So that being said, we talked about 3D gamification. And whenever you play PC games, you use your W, ASD, Q, and E keys to move around. But you can also use the arrow keys, and I can also make it that you double click and move to wherever you want to go. So we talked about history. If I click the dojo, it asks me, do I want to go there? When I say, yeah, now we're going to actually travel through the metaverse, and we're actually going to go through to the dojo. So it says, okay, there's 15 spots left. Now,
wait a minute. When you say 15 spots, does that mean that there are people currently right now training?
No, this means that 15 people can enter this space.
Oh, okay.
At the same time, which means we can see, talk, and hear each other. Because remember we were talking about the streaming aspect, right? Yes. So just like you're streaming on Zoom, I'm actually streaming inside of here because anybody can join me inside of here. So this is really about history. This part that we call the dojo is more about history. So you start off with the Okinawan Te, because this is about the karate history. So you're starting off with the Okinawan Te, Chosen, Shabana, and all these guys here that you see, Matsumura, and so forth. And then you go and see the lineage and how it actually became karate. And that's your boy right here, Gojin Funakashi, who brought the Okinawan Te, or the China Te, which it was called in that time, to Japan and changed the name from Okinawan Te to Karate, or MTN, right? Yeah. So you got Funakashi, and then you got the descendants of more Okinawan Te here and more of the Karate as you come into the 20th century, Kunio Demora, and so forth. And of course, you know who this is, Maso Yama, Ryo Kishin, Karate. So this is just a brief history of Okinawan Te and Karate. And then because it's a Japanese art, we call this experience the dojo. And through here, now you can go into the samurais and so forth. So if you look here, it says the gentle way. So now we all know what that is, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
The gentle way, right? The judo and the Jiu Jitsu and that of the samurai, right? Mm-hmm. So you talked about dojos and this, that, and another. So now we're in a whole nother space. It's a whole nother space when it comes to environment and what you see. So now
I do have a question, and
sure.
I hate to jump in. All right, so because this was the main thing for me, so I understood how you could do this in the metaverse with the karate, but I'm judo and jiu-jitsu. So how does that work here in the metaverse?
Okay, I'm going to show you how it works physically, but this moment, let me show you two more things, and then I'm going to show you physically how it works.
This is blowing my mind right now. My mind is officially blown.
This is the Matrix.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Please bring the Matrix back up, okay? When we
Right.
done. Don't forget that, because I'm older and I forget things. So we talked about moving, right? So like I said, I can move with my keyboards, right? But I also can, you see this?
Mm-hmm.
I can also what?
Oh, you can go to the different styles of martial arts. Or wait, go back to that. So you get the
This is
samurai
my
thing.
go-to menu. I
Uh-huh.
should be able to teleport to these places. Something might have happened. Normally, I would teleport when I click my go-to, so that's why we have technology and we have to fix it. So normally,
I see.
I would be teleporting to these places. I gotta see why I'm not teleporting. I'll fix it. So I'll have to run there. Let me run, Rudolph. Anyway, let me.
Oh man, you let that age show.
Oh my
I
God.
know.
This is definitely
Okay.
like Roblox.
So here we've got the shrine here where you actually learn about judo. All sound when it comes to assets, not people, but assets, is individual. So you would have to click the sound like this for you to hear your sound. So your sound is going to be individual. Now, because I'm on my desktop, I have the option, if it allowed me to pull assets to me, which I'll demonstrate that later. Now, as you see, the room closed behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course now I can go through walls, right? And then it's back open, as you can see there. Okay, so let me run. Let me just take you through a little bit of the Museum of Judo here. So as you know, judo comes from Jiu Jitsu.
Yes, it does.
So that being said, this is the history of judo. You know who that is, Mr. Kano himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they separated the judo out of jiu-jitsu as for sport reasons. So you can have something that wasn't as lethal. But you have all these guys here who have contributed to the arts of jiu-jitsu and judo all the way through, even
One of
all
the
the way
pillars, yes.
to the Gracies, all the way around, as you can see.
Ooh, I like how you added that, and that's gonna rub some people the wrong way. You know, they trying to reinvent themselves. So,
Okay, well, I don't get me in politics. I only do history.
well, no, hey, look, I'm right there with you. I'm like, I had that debate fairly recently about Brazilian jiu-jitsu coming directly from judo, and no,
Of
no,
course,
it came from.
it's history.
Yeah, you can't change
It's
your
in the
history.
books.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, nobody, thank God for some books that are still alive. Okay, a little bit about scale. One thing you can't see unless you go inside with your VR headset is scale.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a typical house. So the height of this samurai, you're not going to come up to his calf, as you can see. You won't come to his calf, height-wise. Okay, so this is a shrine to the samurai, because as you know, they were the practitioners of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And this is the helmet and the sword, and of course the armor here. Actually, the armor that you can see on each side. All right, so now I'm actually going to go into the dojo. Even though you can train in here, we can train in here, but let me take you to the actual dojo where we train and show you what's going on and how you actually train inside. Okay, so this is our dojo that we train. Now, inside here, you probably get about, well, we can only get per space 50 people. So you would get 50 people. But for everybody who doesn't have an Oculus, this is what you do. Boom. Do you see me?
Yes, I do.
Then you touch it like this, and boom, now you at home. Now you can do the techniques in front of the camera so they can actually see and follow along.
Okay.
So that's how it's done in the metaverse. So the teacher would actually be on camera and the students can look up and see what you're doing. Now, I am also inside of here. So note that even though I'm on camera, I'm still in here. So here's my avatar perspective. Okay. Now, why do we go on camera? Because this is what my avatar looks like. I am either going to be an android or I'm going to be a human that I make myself up to be. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to be, according to how I make myself. Okay. So as you can see on the screen, I don't have arms, but in VR, I do have hands. So you can't see my arms or my feet. That's why you need to be on the screen so that students can actually follow what you're doing.
Wow.
Get it?
Okay.
Wow.
So now we're talking about perspective. If I'm inside of this in my VR, so I can do everything like a normal person. I can look up, I can punch, I can do whatever. But if I'm here on my computer, like I said, I just expand. Like, remember I told you I can pull anything with me. I can also take it with me. I can go outside with this. It won't matter. As long as I touch it, it's with me. As you can see now, I'm back outside, yet I'm still with me. You see, I'm
I
still.
have a question.
Yep.
Now, this is virtual real estate that you have here, correct?
Correct.
Right. And so, for anyone who was either you build your own space or you can rent your space out to other instructors that may want to use your space, how does that work?
Two things. Yes, we can rent it, but my whole thing is why not? Remember this? Remember that commercial? The classic soul. He's like, oh no, my brother, you
Yeah,
got
to
your
get
own.
your own. Yeah. We all know that one.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
So we encourage people to get their own. It's very affordable. We actually partner with schools, we partner with organizations, so that they can have their own spaces. I'm a little annoyed that my go-to is not working the way it's supposed to. Actually very annoyed, but I'll have to fix that. So in that sense, you see I'm still on my website. So you see all these drop down menus.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
another thing with XR. I can move through the metaverse or I can move off my screen like a regular person. So I'm gonna take you now to you first, do you get the training? Do you understand how we train in here now?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I did have a question. I'm a platform guy.
Uh-huh.
So I typically don't game on a PC.
Uh-huh.
Like so I could so is there like a way for me if I were to if I put it on my Xbox or my PlayStation, is is there a way to get there with it? Because I can do a handful of things with so I have the PlayStation 5, and when I had the 4, I had the headset that fits itself to you, and the hand gear and stuff like that. So is that kind of the same thing?
If your console has a browser, you can get to us.
Oh,
Remember,
that's what I'm
this is
talking about.
browser based, so that means any device that has a browser.
Okay.
So if your console has a browser, you can absolutely get through here. Yeah.
And then lastly though, how again, like if I have a grappling art, how does that work here in the metaverse?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Grappling with you're not going to be able to grapple with another individual in the metaverse because our touch is not there yet. Also, um once the full body tracking and touch gets to that place, you can do it. And it's supposed to be pretty much getting there with the new MetaQuest MetaQuest Pro that's supposed to come out in October by Meta, which aka Facebook, which was Oculus until they bought it. Right. So it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to get you there to that touch, that full body tracking. So supposedly you should be able to start seeing hands and feet and arms. So you should be able to. Now the problem is this: you're not going to experience what's happening.
Oh yeah, but it's still
No.
good to, like, if I'm trying to show somebody exactly where to put their hands, because
Yes,
again, I'm working with someone, so I can mimic the motion, but
you
it's
can.
better if I got your arm in that position. So here's your arm, and then I'm bringing my hand through it, and you're, oh, okay, that's where it's supposed to be.
I would
So
I would think that, moving forward in the future, no more different than CGI, that I mean there will have to be some kind of suits or uniforms that you will have to wear
oh,
that
that's
have electronic equipment to detect the range of motion.
but I had that movie
Well,
that
actually,
that,
that we
that
what we
really good
use
book.
now, you're talking about the motion capture suit, but what we use, you're talking about Ready Player One. But what
Yeah,
we use
yes,
right now is it's sensors on your devices for motion capture, so where you don't have to have a suit. So actually, the technology is past the suit, because even with the Meta Quest 2, I don't have to use the controllers. I can use my hands.
Hmm.
So we're kind of there. It's just we're perfecting it. So for jujitsu, you definitely have to have somebody on screen that you are showing the technique to,
uh-huh,
because a person at home needs something to touch to make sure that they're doing it the right way.
Right. To
exactly.
make
So
Okay.
there are definitely challenges when it comes to that art, for sure, for sure.
Okay, yeah,
All
I'm
right.
digging that.
Wow, this is absolutely
So
amazing.
you said to remind you about the Matrix.
Okay, so let me see. Let me just quickly take you to 36 Chambers, our commerce. Is our commerce. As you see, my AI comes right up here, and I can easily.
To navigate the
Okay, so we talked about commerce. This is my convention center. So in here, we stream films, and you can go buy whatever, go to people's booths. You can check out what they've got. You listen
Or for
to the
instance, you have to
commercial,
imagine.
whatever you want
That's
to
cool.
do. There's more booths available for people who want to get them. This is just one of the floors. Um, and this is only one of my convention centers. We have several. But let me talk about quickly about the engagement with content within the metaverse. There's two ways. The first way is it takes you to a different browser. As you can see, boom. And you see, it took me to that space.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first way. Now, I'm still here and I can talk to you about that space that it took me to. Or the second way is I can bring content inside. So Pluto TV, they chose, okay, let's bring our content inside. But before I click Pluto TV, you see these blue lines surrounding this booth here? Blue
Oh yeah,
dotted
yeah,
line?
yeah, yep. I can see it. Yep.
Okay, that's called a voice zone. And what that means is anybody inside the zone can only hear people inside the zone, which means anybody outside the zone can't be heard. So this gives you privacy. So we create voice zones anywhere we want to create privacy. So now, once again, we're talking about the immersive engagement with content. As you see, I just brought this to Pluto TV inside of here. And of course, I got Flicks of Fury on. Watching Itachi, the blind swordsman. And as I said, you control the volume. So, once again, they wanted to bring their content directly inside so that no matter where I go, their content goes with you,
Nice.
as you can see. And then once I touch it, it's gone. So, like I said, it's all about Star Trek, Star Wars, and reality merging together to create an immersive experience. Now, let me see. Here's martial arts cinema. Where on this one, I don't have the matrix. So let me stop sharing and I'll go to urban action, because the matrix is actually on urban action.
Oh.
Let me go to urban action and take you to the matrix that way.
Oh man, this is awesome. You gotta love, yeah. I mean, like, you gotta love technology. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I mean, like, you know, and the fact that we had to all reinvent ourselves during COVID, the new
Yes.
normal,
Yes.
you know, and so what I said to everyone is we had a meeting about it fairly recently, us that do judo and jitsu, and we said we don't want to abandon it. So I still so if a kid can't attend class, I have them virtually learn.
Right.
So I have them kind of tune in to class. I can see them, they can see us, and we can stop it. And oh, well, here it is. Hold on, wait a minute, Matrix.
Okay, so we talked about the Matrix. It happened to be, I believe it was the 20th or 30th. I think probably the 20th anniversary during one of the virtual settings we did. I think it was last year or maybe the year before last. I can't remember. But you remember this scene, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And then yet you see it right here. And yet now you can experience, because if you touch this chair, or if you touch any of these glasses or the key, it's going to take you somewhere. You remember this car, and this car will also take you somewhere. So it depends on your, you know, what you're trying to do for the experience, but all the experiences take you somewhere, right? So you know what the phone booth does, right?
Right. Transports you.
brings you back.
Transports you. So I must not have it active right now, but normally it would take you to where you it would transport you to another space. Let me go ahead and see what Morpheus. Let me go into Morpheus glasses real quick. Let me see.
Actually, I don't know.
All right. Well, as it would be, it's giving me some issues. I'm not sure if I deactivated because it was over. Because so far only my only the car worked. Normally it would take you to different experiences within the Matrix. So we'll have that'll be part 2. So we'll come back another time and I'll take you through the Matrix.
Absolutely.
But it was a really cool experience.
Now, let me ask you, you know, something like this, you got 500, you know, Fortune companies, you get people are investing into this technology. And so, you know, me being new to this and this being relatively new, what is the most important question I'm going to ask? What is the financial startup for anyone who is trying to get involved in something like this?
Zero. Because you've got platforms like AltSpace, or Microsoft, what's it called? Microsoft, AllSpace is, okay. Microsoft, AllSpace is Microsoft. Mozilla Hubs.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
of course, Meta Horizons, which is Facebook Horizons. All those are 3D and VR spaces that you can join for free.
Oh,
learn all the stuff for free. Now they are app based, but still, you can still learn the technology and so forth. You're not gonna be able to incorporate it into your website and use it like a website, but you can still learn the technology and so forth. So zero.
All right, so it's zero to learn, but now if you're building something like this on your own personal platform, that's another story, correct?
It is another story.
Yes.
So I think what I hear you asking, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shidoshi, is if you wanted to have your stuff showcased or seen, how would someone go about doing that on the current platforms that exist right now, or meaning your platform or your metaverse? Did I say that right?
My specific one, as in the martial arts metaverse or something that I own, we just like the real world, we sell ad space.
Okay.
Let me take you to something from Urban Action, so it gives you a little better idea of how it works. I'll take you to our expo and show you how ad space works that way. Oops. Okay, so we're in Urban Action Showcase, Urban Action Showcase Expo. So couple of ways it works. We sell these booths. That's one way.
Mm-hmm.
We sell these window spaces. As you can see, Warner Brothers, we sell the window spaces. And if you go upstairs, you see we sell wall spaces also. So as you can see, we sell wall spaces. So just like any real platform, we sell ads, we sell booths, we sell wall, window, just anything you would do in the real world at a space, we do in the meta.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed a few urban action showcases, and I know during the pandemic you still kept it going, and this is what you were doing during that time, correct?
Correct. That's why you see it's all built up, because this is what we were doing.
Wow.
We actually had DJ live in this space that would come in and stream also.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So as you can see, wall spaces here, we sell regular ads, and then of course we sell video. Of course, I got my own thing up there for video. So if you touch it, like I said, then it'll come up.
So again, so if one was so inclined, who would they be the point of contact to?
Real simple. They would go to the martialartsmetaverse.com and click contact us or join us.
All right.
Like I said, we partner with schools to make it very affordable for them to preserve their lineage or whatever they're trying to do. It's a little simpler than you would think, because at the end of the day, the goal is to, help people and get them acclimated into this space. And then the most important part is for people not to ignore this. Unfortunately, people that look like us don't think they need to do none of these things. So during the pandemic, they all failed because because they didn't think they needed a website when it was time to get a website. They didn't think they needed to progress in technology. They didn't think they needed a smartphone. Listen, life is about adaptation. If you want to live in this element, of course, if you want to live off grid and do whatever you want the old way, if you can, great. But if you want to survive and engage with people, you got to go where the people are. And
that's
people are. That's why, if you think about it, how many editions of your phone do you get a year?
I know, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, Mom.
And do you know you've never even exhausted all the technology?
No, yet you know what? I think it was I want to say Steve Jobs' daughter, when Apple just released all that stuff, and she was that meme was classic. She was just kind of like, that you don't need it yet. Just wait a little while.
Listen,
you get that,
most people don't even know how to Google properly.
Yeah, listen, I'm learning. I had to rely on my 18-year-old to kind of show me how to use some of this stuff now.
Yeah.
And even with filming, I mean, for what we do, I know at some point we'll graduate to an actual camera, but majority of our filming is done with a phone. And I remember
make movies on the phone though. But that's where the technology is. That's what I'm saying is people shun these things when they need to be embracing these things, because that I'm gonna say it was told, because I don't know, but this is what they say. They said that there's more technology in the smartphone, the first smartphone, than it was that they had to go to the moon the first time.
That is true.
Fact.
So that's a fact.
Like I said, we don't really exhaust the technology because we don't find everything necessary. Where somebody in Africa is taking some wood chips and wires and just changing the whole ecosystem, and they killing them. But we ain't gonna talk about that right now. Don't know. Let's not talk about that right now. But the point is, what they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. And if we don't deem it necessary, we're not going to explore, or we're not going to engage with it. We're just going to engage with the things that we think is necessary, which are vanity. For instance, Snapchat. I don't know how to use it, but that filter thing is really popular. In fact, that's what AR is. I'm glad we talked about that. That's AR. That's augmented reality. That is augmenting the reality of how someone looks. And unfortunately,
boy.
I'm gonna say it like this. Unfortunately, too many people, I'm just gonna say people, believe that they need those filters on all the time to augment their reality because something on the inside has told them that they are not good enough the way they are. So they live a life of a facade in this social media virtual world. But yet, if you know better, you know that's a filter. So it's just everybody, to me, everybody's going crazy.
Yeah, but listen,
think
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm completely addicted to reels. I've wasted like hours just because some of them are hilarious. Other one, and you're going, is that actually real? But I really do. I've wasted time from my life. Where, like, if there was a camera at my home, my wife kind of goes, because I really do.
I think what's important is to find the balance between two worlds. There's I think it's on HBO, Westworld.
Yeah, but that was
right.
from a really crappy
Yeah.
movie.
No, it's a TV. It's a
No,
show.
I know, but the actual original movie was really. I mean, I'm a fan of old movies, you know this, and it was really, the idea behind it was I guess for its time. But I did watching West. I'm a fan. I was just kind of like, all right. They took from a really. Have you never watched the original movie?
No, I
You'd
have
want
not.
to kill yourself.
No. I knew nothing about it until HBO.
No, it's a real. Yeah, it's an old movie.
I knew nothing about it until HBO.
I think it was a book first, to be honest.
And the whole thing is like I said, you have to find the balance because right now, even me talking to my son is an overachiever in academics, but he loves his games and he'll spend hours on those games, and so being in a verse where you don't have to deal with this current reality, it could be detrimental.
Yeah, I listen.
But it's a pro and con to it.
I've wasted a day playing it was forgot what the game it was. No, actually it was I went back and started playing Oblivion from the Elder Scrolls and literally found myself wasting a day. But I was a D&D guy back in the day too. So there's that.
So Demetrius Angelo, it's a pleasure to have you on the Martial Maze and to share your insight. Before we depart here, I would like you to chime in on the up and coming Urban Action Showcase.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The Urban Action Showcase and Expo celebrates diversity and the multicultural achievement, specifically in the blockbuster action genre, because we need images, specifically heroic images, that represent our interest and, most of all, our image, right? So we need people who are saving the day, not being saved by the day. So 10 years ago, I embarked on that journey, and I'll have to give credit to credit is due, and be honest. As a consultant at HBO for the past started in '99, so for 23 years until I retired, or forced to retired last year. I had the insight on how things run, and I was able to garner sponsorship for this opportunity. And the whole purpose was to change the change the perception of our people from villains to heroes. And within the Urban Action Showcase, like I said, we have the Action Film Festival, international, over 15 countries. We have Action Expo, like a Comic-Con, like you saw with my little virtual. And we have action film seminars, we have action panels, and we have opportunities. And the opportunities are twofold. For those interested in getting into action cinema, we have something called the Call to Action Martial Arts Action and Talent Initiative that Willie the Bam Johnson came to me back in 2014 to start that, where you're getting exposure to and critique from action stars, action directors, and stunt coordinators. So in the action genre, the people who hire you for the action is the stunt coordinator, not the casting director when it comes to the action, the actual real action. So quick story, 2015, James Liu, the stunt coordinator of Luke Cage, came, and about 15 people got on Luke Cage and got their SAG card. So these are the opportunities that we're talking about that we offer. It is our 10th anniversary, AMC Theaters, Times Square, 42nd Street at the AMC Empire Theater, which is a landmark. That is the old school theater where all those Kung Fu films used to play back in the day.
Yep.
The Empire
Yes.
Theater, that's that theater. 25 theaters, we take 5 to 7. This year we're only taking 5, so we take a whole floor. And November 4th is our action film awards and red carpet. And November 5th is the Urban Action Showcase Martial Arts Action Cinema Megathon, 10 a.m. to midnight. So urbanactionshowcase.com. You can get tickets for both days or tickets for one day. But we'd love to see you there. Support.
Oh yeah, we're going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Support images that look like you, that are saving the day. We've got, comic book artists, of course. We got filmmakers, we got producers, we got celebrity guests. I'll be honest, by the grace of God, in the past 10 years, I think I've had pretty much everybody come through.
Oh yes, you
Not
did.
too many people who have not come through one way or the other, be it in person or virtual. So we've had some greats, and I'm very grateful. But at the end of the day, I want people to know it's about the people. So as long as the people continue to support it, we'll keep the light on, as they would say. Right now, we started with a pin light. We're probably about at the flashlight realm at this point. But if the people continue, we'll be on the spotlight. But other than that, that's really what it's about. If you've ever been there, it's like a family reunion with all the people you like.
Yes.
Or I should say all the family you like.
Well,
I should say that.
I can say you definitely gave me a platform, because I had a film show on the big screen some years ago, happy hour, and it was for like stunts and choreography. So it was the first time seeing one of my pieces on the big screen as well, thanks to you. So I appreciate you very much, sir.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I'm glad. And those are the great stories, because that is what we do. Our protocols are information, education, facilitation, and exposure. And people need to realize, I'm like, you are on the biggest platform in New York City. You're in Times Square, the crossroads of the world, at the largest theater in New York City. You are on the big screen. So, we do give that to filmmakers, and it's a boost. It's very encouraging. And it's something that you can say, hey, I my film played here. You know what I mean?
Yes. Nothing beats it. I was played in Times Square, 42nd Street, AMC. Nothing beats that.
Nothing beats that.
Yeah. So I would like to say, I appreciate you giving us your time, and I will see you at the Urban Action Showcase.
Yeah, and I definitely want to add, we're probably going to have you back on because you were showing us so much stuff. Like, we blew through an hour. I know I said, and I feel I appreciate you staying on, because I said, hey, 15, 20 minutes, and wow, that's crazy. I'm like, we blew through an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When it comes to technology, you gotta show. You can't tell. That song, show and tell.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyway, the point is, you've gotta show, because there's no reference point when you tell.
Yes.
There's no reference point for this, because most people haven't seen it. So you can't explain, you can't articulate it, because there's nothing for them to pull from. There's no realm of experience for anybody to pull from. So you actually have to show it. And I'm glad you told me that, because I got to give you your platform back, sir.
I'd be like, hey, thank you for listening to the Martial Maze. Be like, nah, we still going.
Yeah, you should have it back. I would have.
Yeah, you know what?
So off, and you would have been gone.
Yeah. You know, originally I wanted to do this podcast style, but I don't think because there's so much stuff. I feel like this will probably just go right online, our
Yes.
YouTube platform,
Yes.
as is, because it wouldn't make any sense to, for just that reason, try to switch the audio over and stuff like that. You know, I'll be able to put a little music in the background. There's always, if you listen to any of our stuff, there's almost always music playing in the background. We're both fans of old school hip hop, but I like jazz. I'm a musician too, so it's just kind of one of them. I like all kinds of music, and you know, you'll never hear the same song twice, and we always fit that kind of flavor, whatever you were bringing. So it's like a combination of the spirit and the flow of the episode, and it's always just kind of there.
Yeah,
and stuff
for
like
sure.
that. So. But we'd like to thank you once again for
Thank
your
you
time.
For your time.
Yes, sir. I'm with Baraka, my partner in crime, Baraka Lachidoshi.
And I'm with my partner in crime here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
And you've been listening to The Martial Maze.